Just get a little video if you don't mind here.
What is he gonna take a picture?
Yeah.
I'm gonna do a little video.
A little video of you, and then I'll show you. I'll show you some of it here.
Just go ahead talking and being natural.
I
Make
know.
it better.
I just don't have to pose or anything.
No, you don't have to
I
pose.
mean, I
No.
guess that's the secret of it.
He always gets me, and I hate that.
This is such a beautiful house.
Oh,
You mind if I take a picture? Just
I
kind
didn't realize it was that pretty.
Scan around.
I love it too. I love it too.
It's really beautiful.
My mother is 97 and a half years old.
She must have been a strong lady.
She doesn't take any medicine. They give her an aspirin, a vitamin, and a stool softener every day, and that's it.
And she knows everything.
Well, yes, she still knows everything, but she's gotten to the point now where she don't want to talk.
Mhm.
You know, she won't hardly carry
Well,
on
I
a
think
conversation.
you might be lucky to have had her this long.
And she's blind. She can't see, and she can't get up
Can't
and down
read
or
or-
anything. She just like.
I'll show you a little of this when I take
Okay.
it, and share it a little. You know, with
Yeah.
it's.
This is so nice that you've thought of this.
Yeah, it's.
You'll have to take some of Lucille when you see her.
Do they let
He's
you
cool.
take pictures there where she's at, or
Oh,
no?
I'm sure.
They don't care?
I've only been there one time
One time?
since she's been in a couple of rest homes. And
Oh, has she?
She has a real nice apartment, and it's just like several rooms in a great big place. She has a living room, and bedroom, and it's and she has it furnished so pretty.
Mm. Yeah, I'm looking forward to meeting her.
You've never met her.
No.
She's different.
She told Paul when he was talking to her on the phone, she said, "Now I'm excited about you coming to see me. Don't disappoint me." And he said, "I won't." Said, "I told you I'll be there, and I will."
Yeah, she wanted to. She said, "Don't disappoint me." So we're gonna go by and see her.
Oh yeah, she hasn't changed that much. Did she have dark hair when you saw her?
Yeah, she had. That day I had my video camera there at my mother and dad's house. She danced a little Irish jig.
Oh.
And she would say MacCord, not McCord.
McCoy.
Yeah, she'd say MacCord. I mean, she put the
She's always done that.
emphasis to it. I remember that, but it was that we had a good visit. And her brother, not her brother, but her husband had a produce, I think.
Yeah, they worked on the city market for many years. They'd go on these trips and get fruit from the valley
Yeah,
and sell it on the market. It's
Yeah.
really hard work, but must have been very rewarding.
yeah. Well, him and my dad had a nice visit chat. Yeah, that's gonna really look good. I'll show you a little of it here in just a minute. I just want to get up about 4 or 5
What
minutes.
are you taking now?
Just a picture of you sitting there talking.
Oh my gosh, all this time?
Yeah. And I'll just kind of scan around, you know, and take a picture of this beautiful house. Boy, everything is so pretty here.
No,
Yes.
thank you.
Very pretty.
Well, that hutch, I really love that too.
Isn't that pretty?
Yeah, it sure is. Yeah. Looks like a southern home, kind of
Yeah.
like a southern homes, but down in the south.
I've never had pictures of this house taken. That would be nice.
Very
I had,
pretty.
You know, when we had family dinner or something.
Yeah. He was saying here a while back, he really misses the family dinners that they used to have at his mom and dad's.
Oh, it was.
And before my husband died, everything was always at my house. But now that he's gone, I don't see much of my boy. Well, I don't see my boys hardly at all anymore.
Well,
But I do my daughter.
you know that happens. My children,
Well, thanks.
like I had to see my parents every day.
Thank you, Lois, for letting me do a little video too.
Oh, I hope that I'm looking forward to seeing them in a few seconds. Is that right?
Yeah, I'll show you a little bit of it here.
Show you that on there. His mother would be thrilled to death to see all that.
Okay, I'm gonna stop it now.
And then I was lying there sort of in a trance, and God started talking to me.
Oh my, that's well.
And he has a soft voice, but it carries authority. In other words, you know, you'd better mind him.
Yes, that's true. Now I've got it, it's running, and we're doing some video on you. And I'll show you some of it if you'd like to see some of it. But
What a treat.
but we're just trying to make this an enjoyable trip for all of us. So
And his mother will enjoy seeing that too. She said, be sure and tell you hello, and she'd love to see you.
Oh, I would love to see her too.
I will let her go that way while we talk. And
It probably won't be very long until we're with the Lord.
We never know, do we?
we never know when that day's going to be. But I say enjoy every minute of it. That we're here, and I think we should visit family more than we do. But I don't. I know I'm guilty of that too, and I know your family probably is too.
The world has so much meanness
Oh,
in
yes.
it now.
Absolutely.
Until I think it's so foolish for intelligent people to carry hate and grudges and that sort of.
What the world needs is less hate and more love. Is what I think.
That's the way the Lord taught.
And they're trying to take God out of everything.
That's
Instead of
true.
taking him out, we need him more.
Well, that's what God's well punishing for disobeying. I think He expects us to do the right thing. If you don't, of course, everybody has their own perception of those things. So I don't want to get too much into that.
And unless we repent, He spanks us. That's
Yeah.
what I call it.
Yeah.
I think we know when we get a spanking from God.
But I cannot believe how well you look, how good you look at 90. It's really impressive. Just
It's cream.
is that what it is? Okay.
My little mother, I told her one
Yeah.
day, I said, Mother, I just thank God every day that you're not laying here in pain. And she said, you know why I'm not? And I said, why? She said, because I'm living right, that's why. I said, you have a point there.
But some of the old ladies here started out being so mean to me. But they're different now.
Well, good.
And I've lived here, well, it was a year, June the 6th.
June the
Um,
6th.
I just didn't believe in returning it. I knew it was wrong. So one of the aides told me yesterday that I'd been kind to everybody. I hope so.
Did you have? Oh, here it is. This is one. I wanted to show you this camera. It's a $500 digital camera. Boy, it takes
Oh
some
my goodness.
super good pictures also. And the pictures, matter of fact, the pictures that you saw my mom was taking with this camera.
Oh,
camera, those pictures that I gave.
well, look how digital everything. May I hold it?
Sure. Yeah, it's a digital. It's a Canon PowerShot G6,
Oh,
and it takes.
and even though it's little, it's heavy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's heavy. It's got a lot of features on it too, and everything. But I have some pictures on here, but I don't know whether you can see them. I took some of Lois on here. I don't know if you can see them well enough to tell. I could show you a close up. Oh, wait a minute here.
My oldest son Jerry has a telephone just about that long, and he can take pictures on it. You wouldn't think something that little
I know, it's amazing.
would do that.
Okay, here we go. This is Lois, and I'll get the close up.
Was Jimmy there, her son?
Here's a picture of Lois on the little screen there. Can you see her there on the? That was her a while ago. We took over.
Uh-huh. And I don't see her well enough to recognize her, but I can see her farm.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know whether you could make that out or not.
To answer your question, I told her, I said, it's a shame your son wasn't here so we could visit with him too. And she said, well, I don't know if he's here or not. I said, he lives in the back part of the house. I said, I don't know if he's here or not. So that's all I know.
Well, he has a bedroom there, and she didn't bring him out.
Well, she said he lives in the back part of the house. So she said she didn't know if he was
He
there
was
or not.
probably in his bedroom.
Yeah.
That little stinker, she just wanted to visit with you alone.
She might have. She really enjoyed visiting
Her-
with Paul.
Her son is so intelligent.
What's his name, her son?
His name is James Jr. after his dad, but
Oh.
we call him Jimmy.
Jimmy.
We call my son Jimmy too.
Oh,
Let's see how this turned out.
oh, that's a good picture.
That's a good picture. That picture of you there, I don't know if you can see that or not.
Probably
That was
probably
one I
not.
took of you.
See that old white head?
Yeah. the white hair, yeah.
You
That's a
know,
good picture.
I colored my hair for years, and every time I wanted to let it go gray, my youngest son Jimmy would say, "Oh no, Mama, don't do that. That doesn't look like you." Well, it finally got so white it was just too much trouble to color it, so
It's a very pretty color, I think.
I let it go.
Sure is.
I've got one dark spot.
Well,
It looks funny
it's very pretty, I think.
with the
Very
rest
pretty
of my hair white. The dark spot looks funny.
Yeah. That, we'll quit for a while. I just wanted to get some pictures, and I'll if you want any pictures, I'll send them to you. Send me any of these pictures, I'll be happy to send them to you.
Well, if there are any you want to give up, I'd be happy to get them.
But we got a good rain over there this morning at Lois's house.
Oh, really?
Pretty good rain, yeah, over there. Now you said Arthur was your dad, wasn't he? Arthur McCord.
His full name was Arthur Justice.
Arthur Justice.
And I always wondered about that justice.
Yeah.
But it's in the Bible. I read it. I don't remember where, but I ran across it one day.
Was Josie and him's brother and sister?
Uh-huh.
Then was there any other children besides Josie and Arthur in that? Were there any other children besides him?
Well, there were 3 that lived. Well, Gertie lived until she was a grown woman and married, and
Oh,
she died with tuberculosis, and
I had forgot about Gertie, yeah.
and then her daughter also died.
Oh, her daughter died.
But the three lived: Josephine, Blanche, and Arthur.
Okay, Blanche and Gertie's the one. Where did Crocker? There's a name Crocker came in somewhere. Crocker before.
There's what?
Crocker, C-R-O-C-K-E-R. You sent me some genealogy. You remember one time on, and I put it in the genealogy about Childress and Henry and Ray,
Yeah.
and I put that in my genealogy files.
Childers died a few weeks ago.
Oh, did he?
Yes, he came back from World War II with diabetes.
Diabetes.
We thought at first that he had that jungle fever,
Yeah.
and he went into a coma one day, and when we took him to the doctor, we found out it was diabetes.
Yeah.
But he was the most disciplined person I've ever seen. He gave himself shots in his leg, insulin, and his wife would cook just what he was supposed to eat, and she even measured it out. I've never seen another diabetic that disciplined.
And if I remember, he had that a long time, because I remember when I was a kid up at my grandmother McCord's, she said he had diabetes back then. One of them did. I think it was Childress.
Yeah, it was Childers.
Childress. And I think they came up there and visited my grandparents once or twice. And I remember Henry, when Henry was with, had come up there too, and I forget what his wife's name, Henry's wife's name was.
Mildred.
Mildred, yeah, that's right, Mildred. Yeah, and
My first name is Mildred. I don't know why my family called me Lucille.
which name would you prefer, Mildred or Lucy?
Mildred.
Mildred.
And all of my friends have called me Mildred for years and years, and I really have enjoyed it because I never did like Lucille.
Well,
And Lois refuses to call me Mildred. Now, Aunt Blanche's daughter, Nana Lou, called me Mildred, but she died a few years ago.
oh, she did. Arthur's been, your dad's been dead a long time too, hasn't he?
Yes, I have forgotten the year Daddy died.
I was,
Time just seems to pass so
I know it.
fast.
If I recall right, I was looking at the genealogy, and I think it said he died in 71. 71, I think, but I'm not sure. Your dad, on the genealogy records I had.
It was something like that because I graduated from UTA in the spring of '77. I'd gone to college 4 years then.
You have a college degree.
And I hadn't gone when Dad was alive.
Oh, okay. So
That's the reason I know it was the early '70s.
oh,
You said '71.
I think it said on the genealogy records that he died at 71. You don't know what year your grandpa died, do you, Joe? What year that was? Probably forgot. That's been a long.
Let's see.
It might not be a good, fair question to ask. I was just curious.
That's all right. I was trying to think.
Okay.
I should have written things like that down.
Yeah.
I wish I had kept a journal
Yeah.
because there's so much I've forgotten and so much I didn't ask my grandparents.
Yeah.
Grandpa was Scotch-Irish and Grandma was English Welsh.
what was your grandma's maiden name? I forgot.
Miller.
Miller?
Yeah.
Okay, well, my dad speaks of his grandfather, Joseph Mulkey Sr. That, you know, your grandpa was Joseph Mulkey's son. They both had Joe. They were both named Joe. Or did you know? Or do you remember that? Anyway.
Grandpa claimed that he named himself when he was 8 years old.
Oh, he did? Okay. Well, anyway, the story I read, checked up, was Joseph Mulkey had 10 children, and one of his children was Joseph Mulkey Jr., which was your grandpa. That's the way I understood it. And my granddad McCord married an 18-year-old Indian woman, so that made, and she died at childbirth. And she, so that would have made your grandpa and my granddad half brothers, I believe. I believe it's half brothers. But I could be wrong.
Grandpa and your dad?
My grandpa and your dad, I mean your grandpa, your grandfather and my grandfather were half brothers, I think. Because my grandfather had a different mother than your grandfather did.
Well, Grandma, when Uncle Martin's mother died, she died at birth with that new baby, Uncle Martin.
Yeah,
And Grandpa took that baby and got himself on the horse with a baby and took it to Grandma. Took Uncle Martin to Grandma.
Yeah.
And she had a baby then, I don't know which one. And she nursed both of those babies. And,
That's what I was trying to remember, yeah.
And she kept Uncle Martin for a few years. And she was just crazy about him, you know. I know it must have hurt when his dad remarried. They took him.
So it was your grandmother that took my granddad McCord and raised him. Well, I couldn't remember how that was. I didn't remember.
And she always called him Martin, and she was just crazy about him.
Well, my Uncle Homer, he said that my great-grandfather, Joseph, and his son, Joseph Jr., married sisters. And one of them's name was Lou Miller, Lucetta Miller, or something, and the youngest sister was Jeannie Miller.
I never did hear Grandma talk about her.
Anyway, my Uncle Homer said my great-grandfather Joe Sr. and your grandpa Joe Jr. married two sisters, and my great-grandfather married the youngest girl, and your grandfather married the oldest girl, which was his son. So I don't know.
And everybody called her Lou.
Yeah.
But her name was, I don't remember what it was. It's in her old Bible.
Yeah.
Luella or something like that.
Yeah.
That's why they named me Lucille.
Oh, after her. Okay. Okay.
And her name wasn't Lucille, but they wanted to get that Lou in.
Oh, okay. Seemed like it was Lousettee or something, Lucette or something. We looked it up in the microfilm in a genealogy thing. But
And I've been told that, and I think I wrote you a letter about it. I've been told that the Mormons and an Indian tribe, and I don't know where they are, had the best genealogy.
yeah. Yeah, they do. They're the ones that has the best genealogy.
I have a friend at Sigerville that got the Mormon genealogy for his family.
Yeah. Well, I was really into that at one time, and now my son is into it.
Well,
and
good.
And I just dropped my part, and he's taken over. He took what I worked hard to gather up, and he's put it on a website on the computer where you can go to it and you can trace your family tree out. And I've been to it several times, and he's done a fantastic job putting it all together. But I did a lot of hard work trying to find all that. It took a long time to find all that information. And the more people dies, the less it's gone forever.
And some of those oldsters just didn't keep records, you know. These younger people keep journals, but I don't think our family did. I wish they had.
It's things that people never do. Just like these pictures and videos that I've made, I'm the only one that's really made any effort to do them. And if I'd never done them, I would never have all this stuff, all these movies and stuff that was made. So now everybody's enjoying them. Seems to be enjoying all of them.
Yes.
And the ones I have of my dad on video that no money could buy that replace that. You know, having my dad on video and watching him talk and tell his joke is priceless to me.
Did you have him play his violin?
Oh yeah, I've got that, and I put them on DVDs. I burned them all on DVDs where you can put them on a DVD player and watch them. I wish sometime that you could see some of those old videos that I made of him. He liked to play, he liked to play music and stuff. He picked up the violin because my grandfather used to play the violin before he died.
Oh, when we visited them, Childers was just a baby then, just barely walking.
Yeah.
Well, anyhow, Uncle Martin would play the violin and Aunt Jenny would pluck the guitar.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that was.
They were a lot of fun.
Good days.
And when they lived in that log cabin by the river then, and we went to see them when we had to get in a canoe and cross the river to get there.
I didn't remember that.
Well, Childers was just barely walking. Anyhow, what I wanted to tell you was Aunt Jenny, they just had 2 big rooms then, and the boys slept in the attic.
Yeah.
And Aunt Jenny would put her dishpan down in the kitchen floor,
Yeah.
and Childers fell over in it.
He did.
He was just barely walking and talking,
Mm-hmm.
And he got up, he didn't cry, he got up and he says, uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
We laughed about it, and my family always remembered Aunt Jenny's biscuits. They were about that big.
Pretty good size,
Do
yeah.
you remember her biscuits?
Yeah, I remember that. Boy, they were big ones.
Yeah, about that big around.
Oh, they were good too. It was her own recipe, and they were really good.
Grandma could make good biscuits too. And she started keeping a little piece of dough, a little round piece, and letting it sour, and she'd put it in her biscuits in the morning. Boy, they were good.
Yeah, I remember eating that there when I was a kid. But my grandmother McCord told a joke on my Uncle Homer. You remember Homer? That was her youngest son. They called pumpkin. You've heard of that, called, I don't know how to say it. Baby poop. My grandma McCord used to call it pumpkin to my Uncle Homer. And one day there was some woman at my grandma McCord's house, and they was talking about pumpkin pie. She was going to make her a pumpkin pie. And Homer walked up about 2 years old, and he says, "We don't eat pumpkin." He thought he was talking about the poop.
I used to play with him when I was a little girl. I was older than him, you know. And I'd take him by his little hands, and I thought he enjoyed playing. And when I saw him at Luther's and Estelle's house, he told me he held that against me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he thought I was being mean to him.
I'll be.
I said, well, Homer, I loved you to pieces. I didn't dream that you felt like I was mean. But he wore dresses then. Aunt Jenny kept him in dresses until he was about, I guess, until he went to school, I guess.
Oh, really?
And he was 5 years old when I saw him in a dress.
5 years old.
So I don't know when she took him out of the dresses.
Well,
I intended to ask you about his wife. Did she die?
She died. Maureen died. Homer had a blockage, stomach blockage, and my dad, of course, died in May of '99. And then that October, while Homer had a blockage, emergency stomach blockage, they took him to the hospital emergency room, and they did a quick exploratory surgery to relieve that blockage. And when they opened him up, he was eat up with cancer inside. He had cancer all inside of him.
That happened to Ray too. My brother Ray.
Oh, is that right? And of course, he didn't get out of the hospital. Well, Homer grieved himself about his wife dying with cancer. She was diagnosed with cancer in '85, and she outlived Uncle Homer by 2 days. He died, I think, the 11th of October, and she died 2 days after he did. She had cancer. So now their son and their daughter, we never hear from them. They never call us. Marilyn, his daughter's name was Marilyn, and Milton was his son.
So many families have gotten apart.
Yeah.
They just don't have that old time closeness that we knew when we were kids.
And my mother said, well, y'all stay in touch with us. We'd like to hear from you. And they said, we will. But they never called my mother. Never did call her. So my mother says, well, they know where we live. If they don't want to call us, we can't make them. We can't make them call us. But
I used to call her once in a while when I could see, and she would call me once in a while. And my daughter said she was going to rewrite my telephone numbers in big black letters, you know.
Yeah. Let me see if I can...
She still hasn't done that.
I'm going to call my mother and see if I can catch her home just a minute and tell her where we're at. See if she happens to be home.
She'll be surprised.
Yes, she will. I don't know whether they're home. They were supposed to be out doing some garage.
Did she say something about
Oh yeah, I think she was supposed to go to my other sister's house.
She likes to go.
She sure does, yeah. She sure does. And they, Mom, we're here at Mildred's house. Yeah, I wanted to let you say hello to her a minute. Here she is. Just hold it up to you here, Lucille.
Estelle? Well, I think I'm close to going home to be with the Lord. No, I'm in assisted living, honey. And the reason I'm at Cedar Hill in an assisted living home. Yes, the kids sold everything I had.
Try not to trip over that.
And it was all right with me because I can't do much anymore. I can't even read and write now, but I think my eyesight will get better. How are you doing? Do you have osteoporosis?
Your ward, she said, get sleepy. We'll get a
Yeah.
motel and see if we leave here if
I'm glad to talk to you. I miss talking, but I can't read anymore, and I couldn't read your telephone number.
we leave. You look sleepy. You look sleepy.
Oh,
You enjoying it?
well, I'm in Cedar Hill, in an assisted living home. Yes, ma'am. I guess when my money runs out, if Medicare will let me stay here, that remains to be seen. It surely is. $3,000 a month. It's just ridiculous. It's pretty nice. Of course, it isn't like home, but